We are Pro Cannabis Media.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the B Block, or second section of Weed Talk News this week. I'm Alaina Pinto. California remains the #1 cannabis market by revenue in the country. This week, however, brings another recall for mold in pre-rolls in that state. Over the last month, law enforcement officers in Fairfield, California, raided 3 illegal indoor grow sites and many outdoor grow sites near state parks. Over $1 million in fines were dished out and over 5,000 plants were destroyed or confiscated. The Unified Cannabis Enforcement Task Force of California has seized over $120 million of illegal cannabis products, over 73,000 pounds of unlicensed cannabis, and more than 122,000 illegal plants in 2024 alone. Yet California is still king of revenue in cannabis. In the meantime, the California Department of Cannabis Control is issuing a mandatory recall for a pre-roll product from the THC Design Estate Grown Premium pre-rolls. They were sold and packaged by the Bake Shop in LA, and the dates on the pre-rolls were packaged on or after May 24th of this year. This is the final weekend of the California State Fair in Sacramento, the first state fair in the country to allow cannabis for sale and consumption in a designated area. The Beard brothers, Bill and Jeff Levers, were there for a group photo, including the editor of greenstate.com, Rochelle Gordon. All right, now let's check in with 2 states on the West Coast, Washington State and Oregon. Here's Matt Friedlander and Marianne Cursetjee.
Hi, my name is Matthew Friedlander, reporting from the owner's office here at Skagit Organics with the Washington State Cannabis Report for Weed Talk News. So it has been a little slow around here in cannabis news for Washington State, but the LCB is still making its way through a number of rule petitions. Most notably, some rules around the social equity licenses. There has been one set given out to people already. There's another round of licenses set to be given out soon. The second round of licenses has been given the ability to move locations. And the people who have received licenses in this first round are asking to be given that same ability. As you may know, many local jurisdictions have restricted where cannabis companies can put their business. And so it's important that both sets of these new social equity applicants are given that ability. High THC products continue to pop up in the LCB board meetings. The LCB also did restrict the time allowed for the public to provide public comment during these meetings. They lowered that from 4 minutes to 3 minutes. They did complete rulemaking around the medical endorsements that are provided to retail stores. This endorsement is necessary to enter people into the database to make them official registered patients, and it is required if you want to be able to give the excise tax exemption to these registered patients that went into effect on June 6th. This is a substantial discount, somewhere in the 40 to 50% range. So for many stores, this medical endorsement is critical to be able to serve the medical community and stay competitive with their neighbors. That's what I've got for you this week out of Washington. My name is Matthew, reporting for Weed Talk News. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
I'm Marianne from Alibi with this week's Oregon Cannabis Report for Weed Talk News. As reported last week, there is an initiative that will likely make this November's ballot, requiring all cannabis licensees to sign a labor peace agreement. The United Food and Commercial Workers, UFCW, Local 555, has spent over $2 million to get signatures for this initiative. The union is confident that the signatures will qualify it for ballot. There is a similar existing rule existing in California. However, the rule in California applies only to employers with 10 or more employees. The proposed ballot measure in Oregon applies to all cannabis licensees, regardless of size. Next, Whitney Economics published its 2024 Cannabis Industry Business Condition and Sentiment Survey, showing that only 27% of cannabis businesses are profitable. About 1/3 of businesses are losing money. Factors include high taxes, overregulation, and illicit market influences. By contrast, about 64% of all small businesses in the US are profitable, so the cannabis industry is by far an outlier. Social equity is a large component of many states' regulatory framework. The survey found that just 17% of non-white owned businesses are profitable. This is troubling as there has been hope for social equity businesses. On a happier note, this coming Friday is the annual Lit Golf Invitational Tournament, which brings together cannabis industry advocates from around the state. After the tournament, Congresswoman Val Hoyle will share her thoughts on the industry and our future. Hope to see you all at the mixer. That's the Oregon Cannabis Report for this week. I'm Marianne with Alibi.
Planet 13 in Las Vegas continues its expansion beyond Nevada. In May of this year, Planet 13 acquired VitaCann for $54 million. Now that acquisition has allowed the dispensary giant to make plans to expand into Florida, with that state hoping to pass adult use at the ballot box in November. Planet 13 will now have 30 dispensaries in Florida, and there are plans to build more in the Sunshine State's biggest markets in Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. Planet 13 will always remain true to its roots in Las Vegas, and that's where you will find Tina Tasaka every week. This week, she is feeling that Olympic spirit. Check out her Nevada Cannabis Report.
I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies, and this is the Nevada Report for Weed Talk News. Paris. It's been 100 years since the Olympics have been celebrated in the City of Lights. C'est magnifique. Well, not so magnifique with Nevada news, more like comme ci, comme ça. The Cannabis Compliance Board, CCB, sent out a safety bulletin on July 19, warning consumers about intaking certain kind edibles, KYND. 17 Las Vegas dispensaries carry this brand and were alerted, and the listed sales facilities are requested to display this bulletin in a conspicuous location on their premises for 30 days to ensure their customers are aware of this information. CCB agents allegedly discovered that certain batches of kind edibles were manufactured using THCV from an unapproved source. THCV, discovered in 1973, affects the same brain receptors as THC, but is only about 1/4 as psychoactive. Known as the diet weed for its appetite-suppressing effects, THCV can also reduce stress and anxiety and produce a motivated, alert, and energizing euphoria. It is classified as industrial hemp as its Delta-9 THC content is below 0.3%. More progress, yet delays with consumption lounges in the Silver State. Deep Roots Harvest initially had a deadline of August 2024 to complete its consumption lounge. However, in June 2024, Deep Roots Harvest requested a 6-month extension, pushing the deadline into the first quarter of 2025. The company cited delays due to collaboration with Clark County as the reason for this request. The planned lounge located in the Blue Diamond dispensary includes a planned outdoor patio. The county wanted to ensure proper odor control measures and that the lounge would not be visible to the public. The Cannabis Compliance Board ultimately granted Deep Roots Harvest a 12-month extension. Soul Cannabis, which also holds a lounge license, also received a 12-month extension. That's it for the 702. I'm Tina Tasaka with 420 Technologies and Weed Talk News. Bonsoir.
Oklahoma has one of the worst reputations on the rollout of a vibrant medical cannabis market after their disaster of offering cannabis licenses to just about anybody who wanted one a few years ago. Well, now in 2024, there are still over 8,500 medical licenses issued by the state. Amazingly, that's a 27% decrease from the year before. Well, the state has suffered from too much product, too many licenses. There are over 300,000 licensed medical patients in the state, but even that number is not enough to sustain a vibrant market in the Midwest. Next up is Virginia, where Joe Parsons heads up that state's cannabis connection. Joe is an active advocate for the legalization cause in his state and around the country. This week, Joe reviews the DEA's public comment period that has now passed, plus investigates a company that is using hemp for industrial purposes. Here's Joe's Virginia Cannabis.
I'm Joe Parsons with the Virginia Cannabis Connection, and this is the Virginia Cannabis Report on Weed Talk News. I'd like to start this week off by giving thanks to the over 40,000 people that took the time and made their voices heard to the DEA. While it was not the turnout that I had hoped for, considering there's an estimated 61 million medical and adult use consumers in the United States, it still took courage for all of us that did. And now, here's the results. According to the analytics firm Headset, 35% of people agreed with the Biden administration in moving cannabis to Schedule 3, while 57% agreed with me and thought the plant should be freed and descheduled completely. And only 8% of commenters were wanting to keep cannabis on Schedule 1. Again, not the turnout we had envisioned, but with 90% in favor to legalize or reschedule, we sent a message of freedom, a message of change. I'd like to thank everyone that had the courage to stand up and be heard. In other Virginia news, when you think of cannabis, you tend to usually think of smoking it, eating it, or even wearing it. But did you ever think that cannabis could actually be used to build a better future? Well, one company from the Commonwealth is working on doing just that. Sativix Agricultural in Forest, Virginia is devoted to what is and can be possible with the hemp plant. President and founder Scott McStacy has over 5 years' experience with hemp genetics and now is on the verge of a monumental breakthrough with a product called Hempcrete. Using the fibers of the inner stalk of the hemp plant, he hopes to bring to market a safer, stronger, and more affordable option to the lumber of old. To put it in perspective, the average pine tree takes about 30 years to harvest, and the hemp plant takes only 180 days. Not to mention what it could do over the years to lower greenhouse emissions and help slow deforestation. This is a huge step and shows that we can actually build a better future through cannabis research and genetics. I'll definitely keep you posted on this product and its development, as this one could be a game changer. Well, that's going to do it for this week from the Virginia Cannabis Connection and Pro Cannabis Media's Weed Talk News. I'm Joe Parsons. Until next time, stay lifted.
No matter what stage your state is in regarding cannabis reform, one thing is consistent. The people who are making the laws are trying to do the right thing by offering licenses to those who were most impacted by the failed war on drugs. While the intent is admirable and just, it has become a major stumbling block in this country from coast to coast, resulting in many lawsuits and a complete mess in New York. Now that mess has reached the state of Arizona. Here's Karen Black.
I'm Karen Black from Greenfinger Consulting with the Arizona Cannabis Report for Weed Talk News. There's a high-stakes legal battle heating up in Maricopa County. The winner of one of Arizona's social equity licenses is seeking to regain control of her company through a new legal action aimed at the state's health department. Here's a little history. Social equity license awardee Annabelle Vasquez has already lost 2 legal battles to Story Cannabis, which she claims defrauded her of her license. The ongoing legal battle inspired a legislative proposal aimed at fixing issues in Arizona's social equity program, but lawmakers didn't approve it. Here's the gist of the latest complaint filed on July 18th. Vasquez, along with her romantic and business partner, Renee Mendoza, accuses Arizona's Department of Health Services of breaking its own rules by transferring control of her license from her company without holding a hearing after a 2023 arbitrator's ruling. The new complaint argues the DHS had no right to transfer the license without due process. DHS claims it merely updated its records to reflect the transfer, but the complaint disputes that. They're also leveraging a recent court ruling that Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs violated the law by bypassing the Senate confirmation process for 13 state agency directors, including the health chief. That's a whole nother story. Vasquez also alleges that Michael Halo of Story Cannabis used a fraudulent business contract to take control of the license, which Halo denies. An arbitrator previously ruled that Vasquez breached the contract by selling Halo's 49% interest in the license to Mo Asnani for $2.7 million, leading the DHS to transfer the license back to Vasquez's initial company, which Halo controls, even though Vasquez owns 51% of it. The legal drama doesn't stop there. Vasquez's new company, Membus 22, sued the state and Halo, who countersued for legal fees. The cases have been consolidated, and recent filings show attempts to subpoena other social equity license winners who have had dealings with Halo. We'll keep you updated as this saga unfolds. In Arizona's medical market, June sales were the lowest so far this year, coming in at nearly 4,400 total pounds of medical products sold. There were 2,077 new applications for medical cards last month. Year to date, Arizona has 97,610 qualifying patients. That's all for this week's Arizona Cannabis Report. I'm Karen Black from Green Finger Consulting reporting for Weed Talk News.
That will do it for the B Block or second section of Weed Talk News, but we aren't done yet. PCM founder Jimmy Young has the Bay State Cannabis Report, plus what's happening with Tilray on the stock market. That's with Doug Miller. And of course, Debbie Facey in Canada. Don't go away. More after this.
Yeah, it's a great question because cannabis is very exciting. It's almost like, mom and pop drugstores. You could start whatever you wanted. You could be pretty successful. And then there are the business people who see the revenue potential. And those are the ones that I think they are going to become the buyers going forward. And then smaller companies will be the sellers. And then there'll be another group of like, what the heck happened? And there'll probably be some craft survivors as well. But I think, the access to capital in business, this is becoming a mature business, just like craft beer or the car industry from, the 1910s to today. Yeah, I think Schedule 3 will have radical changes. I think we're going to see consolidation in the space independent of Schedule 3. Schedule 3 will influence the flavor of the consolidation, but it's going to happen no matter what.
Will that open up more capital?
It'll open up more capital, more access. One way or another, as the industry consolidates, they're going to have to get access to capital. The buyers will, and that's going to change the markets fundamentally.